What's going on, everybody? Welcome to XP and episode number 2. I am your host, as always, Shane Craig, and joining me is the lovely Jessi Craig, whose name I did remember correctly this time. You gotta give me a little bit of slack. We've only been married for like a couple months.
Doesn't bother me. I'm still writing it occasionally.
She didn't catch it either. In the last video, I totally got.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that I wouldn't catch that you used the name I've been called for 23 years of my life.
How strange. So, obviously, on our last video, we said it was probably going to be bare minimum a week before we were going to do the video, but then the Game Awards and PlayStation Experience both happened, so here we are about 3 days later, because there's stuff to talk about. So, let's just kind of jump right into it. There are 3 things that we're going to hit in this video. 1, Death Stranding. 2, The Last of Us Part 2. And because that seems fitting to me to do that number 2. And 3 is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So we're going to do them in that order. So first, let's get right to Death Stranding. Another trailer at the Video Game Awards. Boy, does this game look really, really freaking weird.
It does, and...
surreal, strange.
Much more... I don't know, like the military is... like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, the military
seeing, like,
aspect
the soldiers
was
and stuff.
Strange. A tank with octopus.
I wonder if this game is going to be like a metaphor for like the demons that, you know, Hideo had to face.
You know, and that's, who knows at this point. What was really fascinating about this particular trailer, of course, was that right away we see Guillermo del Toro is in it.
A fancy man.
Guillermo del Toro, right after that trailer was published, tweeted, "Fuck Konami." So, real ill feelings there. And then,
wow,
towards the end of the trailer, the reveal of Mads Mikkelsen.
Which is awesome.
Which is just bonkers. Like, that's just nuts. And I said this a couple years ago during Hannibal's run. I said, Mads Mikkelsen about to be blown up. And here
He's
it
an
is.
Incredible actor.
He's in Rogue One. He's going to be in Death Stranding, which is fucking bonkers.
And
he
you know
was
what's
in
really
Doctor
crazy?
Strange. Get ready. You're going to be seeing this man a lot.
There may have been like I watched, no, we both watched it. We watched this weird Viking movie where he was in it. And he was
Valhalla
like, that
Rising.
was like maybe the only movie or role I've seen him in where he's not been like a bad guy.
Yeah. He's
like,
a badass, but he's not a bad guy.
Well, yeah. But he's got this like unspoken like charisma, like you just, and also
so
like
good.
The way that he holds himself.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is let me bounce over to the picture, and we're going to basically just kind of roll with the trailer here in the background as we're kind of talking, because there's, I mean, it's one of these things that you really, I mean, I'm sure you've all seen it, but it's worth seeing again. And I'm going to point out a couple of things too that I'll kind of tease now. There's some weird things that happen when you play the first 2 trailers simultaneously. Some weird things timing wise line up that I'm going to show you guys that's real weird. So we'll kind of get to that. Basically, just to put this in your head, and this is not coming from me, this is via the internet in general. They're the handprints. Norman Reedus crawled in the first trailer. That's quite interesting. I believe that we are seeing 2 parallel sort of oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally playing the first trailer. My mistake. So that was
somebody crawled up to
I'm
them,
backwards here. I believe in the yeah, that was the reveal trailer. Thanks Google for screwing this up. Here we go. Sorry. So very similar setup. And now obviously he's not crawling, but he's walking in a very similar looking area. Basically what I was getting at here is that I think that the stranding thing, I think, is more like strands, like different time. I think we're talking about parallel realities here.
You think
basically
so?
Is what I'm getting at. I think we're talking about parallel realities, and the things that line up in the trailers when you see them simultaneously kind of point in that direction. There's some things that happen. So obviously this is Del Toro himself. He here's the tank with the fucking tentacles on it and shit.
Yeah. A lot
That's
of
really
weird tentacles and wormy looking things.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
This is going to be one of those, what I was going to say earlier is that, like, they're going to be loaded with symbols. People love that.
Hideo Kojima is a big proponent of small, detailed little nods and hints to things. The little capsule that he's holding
it's
here.
It's like an incubator.
Okay, notice you pointed this out when we were watching it. It looks like he's got a handcuff on, but one end is empty. Wasn't Norman Reedus wearing a handcuff in the first trailer?
It seemed like he was, yeah.
Pretty sure he was, and he had one on, one off. Right there, suddenly,
there's your baby.
He does things, and there's a little baby up in the capsule.
Just doing flips. 6 stunts.
6 stunts in that capsule. And then there's that same... Was there a doll?
That was just in the beginning of this trailer. There was a doll who walked past. I don't know if there was one in the other one. We'll have to watch it again. But
we'll have to check
there was like some kind of blood or goo or something coming out of the wall behind him.
I assume that was from the tentacle that fell down.
So it looks like he's waiting. Like, and I see this. I think he's waiting for these guys to show up.
Yeah, and this is where things get really weird. First off,
something grabbed the baby.
The light underneath the baby doll, and clearly this baby is of some importance, obviously. And it appears that Mads Mikkelsen wants that baby. And I don't know what that means. He's trying to steal this guy's baby, though.
Now, I see this. I don't see this like... Okay, so, like, I don't see him trying to steal the baby. I think it's like a trade, like a deal. There's some kind of... This is a meeting of 2 people. Maybe he's going to give the baby
Possibly.
to
That's
Mads.
an interesting concept here, is that maybe Guillermo del Toro is trying to hand this baby over to Mads Mikkelsen and the 4 Horsemen here. This was...
I didn't even think about that. That could totally be what that is. I mean, they're armed, and they're, like, poised, but they're not, like... Oh, God, he's so beautiful.
I also want to point out that in all of Mads Mikkelsen's movies and TV shows but Hannibal, something's wrong with his eyes. Every single one of them.
What do you mean?
Valhalla Rising, Casino Royale, Doctor Strange. He's got weird stuff with his eyes every time. Are those power lines going up? They're plugged into the 4 Horsemen. Did you catch that?
I
didn't catch that on the first playthrough.
He looked so euphoric.
He's got power lines or some kind of tentacles and they look like fiber optic cables, and there's a whole bunch of tentacles down around his legs.
Okay.
So he's in some way operating them. And on top of that, another thing to point towards the alternate reality thing. Look at his compass. Just spinning wildly.
Oh, okay.
You know, maybe he's in some alternate reality.
That's something I totally would have missed. Looks so happy.
He just looks euphoric.
He's like, oh, yes. I love it when my tentacles come back to me.
And there's that baby doll again.
And it's also like the ugliest baby doll in the whole world.
And his belly has been stitched up.
And he's got needles coming out of his head.
And on top of that,
Norman Reedus had
its eye opened up and looked up at him, and he seemed to really like that.
Yeah.
He seemed to really...
So what's the deal with his eyes? What are you talking about?
His eyes had shit coming out of him.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that in all of his stuff, he's got weird stuff going on with his eyes.
Probably because he's just so... I don't know.
Oh, so now what I need to do is I need to show you what happens when you watch both trailers simultaneously.
Do you want to watch the first trailer again, just to watch it separately and then watch them together?
So this is a little thing that somebody posted here, and if you I'm gonna try and kind of zoom a little bit if it'll let me. It's not going to. If you notice, right about the time that Norman's baby vanishes, is the time that the baby appears. Of course, this got out of sync. Let's try this again. Let's try reloading this.
Wow, this is gonna be like legit really cool.
Yeah, if it'll play simultaneously here, like it was for me earlier, about the moment that it appears in the capsule for Del Toro, it vanishes out of the hands of Norman Reedus. It's gone, and there it is for Del Toro. So this has been kind of going around the internet now for a little bit.
then there's little handprints just like crawling around and stuff.
Yeah, so that's also really strange. And there, you have the sort of internet sleuths hard at work here trying to figure out what's going on.
People can talk some mad shit about, the internet theorists and everything, but like that's really cool.
Yeah, someone thought to do that.
Somebody did that, and like kudos to them.
Props to Reddit.
I love stuff like that.
So yeah, this game's not coming out anytime soon.
That's fine. I hope they take their ever loving time.
You know that Kojima will. They also did reveal that they are using the same engine that Guerrilla Games is using for Horizon, which is great. I still don't buy that game is going to look like that. I just don't. It's too pretty.
Oh, Death Stranding? Yeah, probably not, but
look at Horizon. Horizon don't look like that. You're telling me Kojima's getting better visuals out of Guerrilla's engine than Guerrilla is?
I'm kind of curious what kind of game this is going to be, though. Is this going to be, a combat game?
They said it's an open world game.
Oh, see, I didn't see it, so I missed all of this.
So is Horizon,
I was working.
Which makes sense for them to be using that engine. But yeah, there's no way that game looks like that. There's just no way. It's too pretty. I don't buy it. So, anything else you want to mention about Death Stranding?
I'm
sure we've missed something. If you guys have some theories or things you want to kind of...
we didn't even spend time on it. Like I could go in depth on it and point out little things that I noticed, but we
may do a more full trailer rundown later. Any kind of theories you guys have run across, feel free to post them in the comments and everything, because we'd love to hear more information, because obviously the stuff is just coming out. This stuff just got
really
posted.
Can't wait. And I think the way that they introduced what's his name, the host of the
Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley. The way that he had introduced Hideo the other day, it was a Video Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
He's not trying to hide anything. I love the transparency. They're not trying to pretend that none of the awkward, shitty things happened with Konami.
Mm-hmm.
They're openly talking about it.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's one of those things that, like, I look at stuff like that, and you can kind of feel the tension in these big, I like to say, big nerdy events. Like, you can feel the awkwardness between everybody, but, like, it's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I like the transparency.
And the fact that it's being made into a positive, where Kojima basically said, I thought I lost everything, but I didn't lose anything.
It's probably going to be very bad for Konami, though. Like, they're just
yeah. I think
right
it has.
now anyways.
I think it will continue to be not a great thing for them, and it's definitely not good PR.
And we're getting something so raw and new from him now.
So bizarre, so surreal.
I love that stuff.
So let's move on now to The Last of Us Part 2, which I will now do the same thing. Let's jump over and let her rip, as they say. So this was sort of the big reveal at the end of PSX, where, I think that this is getting real framey.
Yeah, it's jumping around a bit.
I think that, because it's playing in 4K. That'll do it. That'll do it. Thanks, computer. So what do you mean you can't render video live and play 4K video? Well, why not?
So as soon as I saw the tree and I saw the car, as soon as I saw the car, I was like, I know what this is.
The shot composition is so Naughty Dog.
Exactly. You can look at it, and then you see that, I saw that and I was like, is this? And then I saw the symbol and I was like, oh crap, no way. So, yeah. That's 100% just that shot right there.
Yeah. I feel like this was... Uncharted is great, don't get me wrong, but The Last of Us is just tonally so unique and so heavy and so different. The first things you kind of want to notice is that obviously Ellie she's got this cool fern tattoo going on.
It's beautiful.
She's learned how to play the guitar, which was something that they talked about a lot in the first game.
I had a hard time with this at first because I saw her hand and I saw basically, everything. She looks very grown. I didn't know it was Ellie at first until I heard the breathing, and I was like, well, I heard the breath, and I was like, I knew it was her.
Yeah, she apparently Neil Druckmann has stated that she's 19 here, so that several years have passed.
About 5.
Yeah, I have
Beautiful unkempt eyebrows.
I've stated multiple times that I didn't want them to come back and revisit these characters again because the last game was so, in my mind, utterly perfect and immaculate.
Also, this is the room from the title screen of The Last of Us. It shows that window with the vines coming out of it and everything. That's that room.
Oh,
So
interesting.
she's got blood coming down.
She's
from her
been through
face.
some shit. Clearly, a lot of dead people. She's been in a fight here. Makes you wonder where Joel was. He looks pretty clean. Did she kill all these people herself? Maybe.
I think so.
But as I said, I was kind of apprehensive to see these characters again because the ending was so good. But Neil Druckmann basically came out on that in their little panel talk and said, "Hey, we get it. We were apprehensive too, but we wouldn't be doing this game if we didn't think we could do this right. Trust us.
So
we're
you're
going to do
seeing
this
a
right."
guy in a guy or a woman, I couldn't tell, in the bathroom who, was dead. You've got the guy on the floor who was dead, very close to her. She's
got that machete in the floor in front of her that she used in the first game in that incredibly intense scene where it was alluded that she may be about to be raped, which was good Lord, what a
Which
scene.
I feel like is probably connected to this. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm pretty positive there's a connection.
It could be. Druckmann said in that panel that this, if the first game was about the love between Ellie and Joel growing and becoming a thing and their bond, this game is about hatred, and you play from the perspective of Ellie. This is Ellie's wrath, her anger, and she says here, I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna kill them all. And what a And I kind of want to go back to the first game in the scenes where you
So
wake
beautiful.
up as Joel and
Ellie's gone.
And you have that. They very masterfully, in my mind, through the way that the NPCs reacted to you and sort of the wounded animal sort of aspect you get from Joel, they were so good at coercing emotions out of me.
Yeah.
That anger that Ellie was gone and that you were Joel and you were hurt and you were like, fuck this, I'm killing everyone, I'm getting her back, period, full stop, this is not happening.
So I kind of get the idea that, okay, so when he walks into the room, he says, do you really want to do this or something like that? Are you really going through with this? Okay. Joel killed every single in my perspective. I know some people say that you can get through the game, just sneaking by and like not killing people, especially at the end.
But you can't. I mean,
but
you kill people in the end. Period. Like you're gonna kill some people.
Anyways, I did not play that way.
No,
I killed every single threat that came to me because I'm Joel, or maybe when I played as Ellie, I'm unstoppable. And especially when you're trying to get to Ellie, he was not gonna let anybody
right.
Just slide by. No, he was killing every single person. So I'm wondering if now he doesn't feel some kind of regret, or maybe he's looking back and maybe he sees that he could have done something differently, because otherwise, why the hell is he questioning her?
Maybe he doesn't want to see her go down that same path. He has to feel some guilt because he knows that he straight up lied to her.
True.
We could deep dive into this for
We
an
might have
hour.
to make a separate episode for this too, like just like an episode about The Last of Us. And
as we get more information, I'm sure we'll have some very deep dives into this. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks
I'm just glad they're
intriguing.
still together and she didn't just we don't know, but clearly they're talking to each other in a way that she didn't just say,
they're
fuck
still
you,
companions,
Joel, I'm
absolutely.
gone.
But yeah, my thing has always been that first game was so perfect. Please don't make me. I like the ambiguity of the ending. I like that we don't really know. Did she know he lied? Did she not know he lied? Did she know and just accepted it? There's so many dynamics there to explore. And I don't want finality in that.
But they're not. They may not. We may have a whole nother game where they don't even touch that.
But they kind of have to if they're gonna jump ahead.
They don't have to. They don't have to touch it.
It would feel weird if they didn't.
It felt weird when they did it the first time. What I'm saying though is they don't have to touch that. But when you create a character, it's almost like once you and I don't know, I don't know if you've ever written short stories or anything. I did years and years and years ago for school, and I didn't like it because I don't want short stories. I want long stories.
Right.
I like the finality. But once you create a character, that's it. They have a story, and you're just writing it out for them.
And you know, The Last of Us is the story of Joel and Ellie, and they could tell a story from another person's
I
perspective.
think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I can understand that there's obviously something else
more
that
to
needs
tell
to be
here.
said.
So
you have to you just have to trust them.
yeah, I do. They've not made a bad game yet that I've played. So I mean, all the Uncharted games have been great. The Last of Us was amazing. Crash Bandicoot, which is getting
Uncharted was not phenomenal, but
well, I genuinely believe that if we had have played Uncharted 4 in a vacuum and hadn't played 1, 2, and 3, we would have been like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact that we've played 1, 2, and 3, and we're like, yep, this is just the most polished one of those.
yeah.
So that that it's all about.
But
context.
they also went into The Last of Us making one complete story. I feel like Uncharted started out as like just a little actiony, kind of game. I don't think that they meant for it to go anywhere, and then all of a sudden, like, it just exploded. And each game, the characters were developed more and more and more. But The Last of Us, the intent was to tell a story about two people.
It is a standalone story that has a beginning, middle, and a very ambiguous end that I adored. So let's move on to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We're going to once again show you I'm gonna let this footage roll. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit because it starts very, very slowly.
Yeah,
you have this long build until the reveal of Chloe and Nadine there in the end.
So I had a feeling just from the start. I mean, it's an Uncharted game. Clearly, whoever it's about, I'm seeing a woman. I'm like, well, it could be Elena. It could be Chloe. And then you see like the, blue eyes, dark hair. I'm like, okay, it's Chloe. But I didn't know because you never really know.
Which is weird because that kind of brings me to ask this question. Is this going to be part of the game? Like, because let's think about it like this. Here's why I ask. This is not going to be a full 15-hour release. This is a DLC. This is It's not a DLC. It's a standalone story based on Uncharted 4. Probably going to be in the vein of Left Behind, The Last of Us Left Behind, which was great. And I don't think we should be upset about this. If it's half as good as Left Behind, it's going to be definitely worth playing. In the vein of Infamous First Light, maybe 2 hours, 90 minutes, something like that. This is like 8 minutes long just to reveal that you're playing as Chloe. That seems like that'd be a weird thing to do. I mean, it has to be in the game, right? Like, it seems to be setting up the story.
Well, this is gameplay.
It appears to be. There's no HUD. But I mean, I guess they could have pulled the HUD to make it more cinematic.
But that's what it is, because you can tell the way that she stops sometimes.
Yeah,
that,
it's clearly
she kind of inches forward at one point.
Which, by the way, I want to just reiterate, this game's stupidly pretty. So who knows? Maybe Death Stranding is an engine. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Also, I don't know why, but like I got kind of emotional about this. Like I know I'm trying to like explain it to you, but like it is kind of super important to have. I say kind of super important, but it is super important to have female leads in a game.
Yeah.
And Naughty Dog is like
they
are on top as far as making very relatable, very strong female characters. And I'm not talking about big and beefy. I'm talking about
believable,
their character,
your average
their
woman,
personalities, their some of their quirks and their strengths. This for some reason just really made me so happy to see Chloe, and then later Nadine. I believe that's who it is.
It is.
It's got to be who it is.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
she was a badass of a character in Uncharted 4.
And then you had made a comment about this being like, a possibility for like, kind of like Tomb Raider. And I was like, oh shit, this is good stuff, because Tomb Raider is now more of a story about a very strong character who had to be strong. But I feel like when it was first created, it was really just like a game for like a sex symbol.
Yeah, she was like, let's make a woman that flips around and shoots dinosaurs. And
clearly that's like very
it's evolved,
appealing.
The medium has evolved, and now it's allowing for people to tell these much more interesting and deep stories about.
And I'm so glad that they're giving these characters more than just a few scenes out of a couple of games. She was so overlooked and really more of a threat to like Elena and Nate's relationship, then like half the time you're like, I don't trust this bitch. Like, I don't want her around here, you know?
Yeah, you didn't know what to think about her.
Yeah, then I grew to like love her in the third game. I was like, okay, she's cool, you know. She's not gonna.
What do you
get
think
in the
of
way.
this? What do you think of this lock picking mechanic here? Let me get us out of the way here.
I don't know. It just depends. If
This
it's gonna
kind
be
of
simple
points
enough,
me towards. I mean, obviously she's not Nathan, and I think that just like in The Last of Us, when you play as Ellie,
you're not Joel.
It's different.
Yeah.
You play a different style. So I think that's really interesting that you don't see Nate picking a lock in a. I mean, even though I'm sure he could.
She doesn't always take the route of violence either.
Right. You
like
see her sneaking past people, and you know Nate. You get the feeling if Nate did this, he would have screwed it up about here, and then it would have been guns a-blazing from there on.
Oh yeah.
Where you know.
Well, like in this scene, she's navigating around her enemies, and this reminded me of The Last of Us so much. This reminded me of like being in the sewers in The Last of Us when you had clickers around, and you have to move a lot unless you're just gonna draw them out and have some chaos. But you know,
it makes you wonder how much have they learned from that game, and how much are they kind of bringing over here.
I'm glad to know that they're also not completely done with the Uncharted story and characters. I hope that this is something that.
I mean, we're gonna get a Sam. We're gonna get a Sam game.
I know. I was gonna say we gotta get some. We have to see Sam and what he's doing because he's not done.
They've said that this is the end of Nathan's story,
and that's totally fine. It's done.
Fine. We've done that. But I mean, the idea that we all knew they were gonna make another Last of Us game. There's too much. There's too much there. You can't just walk away from it. You can't be like, there we go, we made a masterpiece that was universally praised, never to be seen from again. You know. So, an Uncharted, how do you leave that? How do you stop making... And I firmly believe that at some point, you should. And this may sound crazy, but from a strictly artistic perspective, I advocated that they not make a sequel to The Last of Us because I think that there's something to be said about making something beautiful and then not feeling the need to be like, let's make more of it. There's something beautiful about that to me. And I'll, just like with this, I'm sure I'll play it. I'm sure it'll be fun. And those concerns will fly right out the window.
But that just takes
But I still have them now.
Back to the point that it's not just about profit and gain. That's part of it. These people have to... They have to keep giving us something new. They have to keep making money. It's a business. But it's not just that. These are characters. This is someone's writing. This is someone's work. This is someone's imagination.
And the way that they speak about their games makes me feel much better about it, too. That it doesn't sound like they're just trying to cash grab, so to speak.
So you see her jeans and her boots. And,
right.
And then,
This is a pretty cobbled together disguise, clearly.
And I kind of, and here's the thing, too. Like, I kept going back and forth between, is this Chloe or is it not? And then I hear her grunting, and I'm like, she's got such a smoker's voice. Like, of course it is.
Did you catch she was using a Sony Xperia smartphone?
No, I didn't notice that.
That always makes me laugh. It almost breaks the realism a little bit for me that I'm like, okay, you're one of the 4 people on the planet that bought one of those phones.
Well, she probably has lots of money, so.
I mean, they're not bad phones. They just no one buys them. They don't sell. I like this here. She headbutts the gun out of his hand, and it goes off. I don't understand how that works.
Hold on. Go back.
She legit headbutts the gun out of his hand, and it goes off. Boom. I mean, like, I don't even know how that makes any sense.
Huh.
Here we go. I'm going to time it perfectly. Boom. I don't understand how that happens, but whatever, I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
Maybe she's just
and
that
then
reckless.
You catch in the background there's Nadine back there kicking ass.
I wonder if she trained Chloe to kick ass, because I don't remember her being this, like, good,
Maybe.
at combat.
Who knows?
Also, I hope they're lesbians. I know they're not, but, like, that would be really cool.
All right. You're shipping everybody.
I can't help it.
One thing I did want to point out, look at the hair. Way better.
Oh, yeah. Finally fixed it. So, slow down just for a second. Go back. Let's talk about the fact that these women look like women now. Her neck is not tiny. You know, her head isn't too big.
Accurate character
She
model.
has shoulders. She looks. It's almost weird to see her look like that, but like they have gone out of their way to make people look like real people now.
Yeah.
Now, Nathan was a little bit beefy, in my opinion, to be doing all the acrobatics he did in the first couple of games.
His hands would have to be so muscular.
But it wasn't as serious then. And
Yeah.
if you looked at the way that they animated Ellie, too, like, they didn't make her super feminine.
They made her look like a normal
In fact, I thought she was a dude for a second.
person.
You know, her hands were just normal hands. She's
Thin.
got this, you know, sweet tattoo.
Which,
and then
which you know people are going to get.
Oh yeah, I already want it, but you know, money. She her overshirt that she's wearing, she's got just a basic t-shirt on. You don't have to make a female in a game and have her be just eye candy.
Voluptuous.
They are changing so many things and it's so good. And I know that there are going to be so many guys and possibly even women who watch this and they're going to be like, I don't like it, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a video game and you know, but just let it be.
Yeah.
They're representing like normal, like everyday women.
Makes it relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I think that's about all we got for you today. Once again, not sure, barring, you know, weird things like huge announcements. I'm not sure when we'll do the next video. Probably about a week from now. We'll get onto a regular schedule eventually.
We'll have a schedule, but I mean, you know, sometimes stuff comes up and we just
gotta
talk
jump
about
in,
it.
So. Yeah. So, as always, if you liked the video, please like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you like in the video in the comments below. If you disliked the video, please give us a thumbs down. We're totally cool with the thumbs down as long as you leave a comment telling us what you didn't like,
With
how we can improve.
constructive criticism.
Absolutely. We're totally cool with the thumbs down as long as there's, you know,
Like, just tell us why.
help us be better for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.